Hey everyone, it's Emily here from Peach Street Crafts, and pulling up my chair, I am filming the first episode, or I guess we can call this episode 0, for an album that I'm going to be working on. This album will document my recent trip to France that I took in June of 2024. We were gone for about 2 weeks and we traveled to 3 different places in France. So I'm finally getting some time to actually sit and document. So I'm going to show you what collection that I'll be using, and then I'm sure that I'll be posting some little just sharing of the spreads, maybe some process videos, we'll see. But this is some of the stuff that I have. It's a lot of stuff. Obviously I probably won't end up using everything that you see here, but I'm just going to show you kind of the vibe, the aesthetic that I'm going for. And of course, for all my albums that I make, pretty much all of them except for my wedding album, which is a big album. It's a 12 by 12, so that one's different. But I use the 6x8 albums. You get these from Hobby Lobby for $7, and sometimes they're on sale as well. It does come with some clear plastic inserts, and then you can buy extra packs with different cuts. So these ones, I don't know what the word for that is. I guess different styles of inserts. So they have just some plain 6x8 ones, 4x6, 2 4x6, and then they have 2 3x4s, a 4x6, and then 4 3x4s. So hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, so that's the album that I'm using. And then I'm going for more of a vintage vibe. Like I said, I did pick up some more inserts, and here it kind of shows you a little bit better what the inserts actually look like. And I hope that I'm in frame for everything. I decided to sit down just in case it's a long video. But yeah, so I got a lot of this stuff from a recent haul that I posted. I'll link that down below if you're interested. But then I also did go through my different collections, my boxes, and my drawers that I have, because obviously one of the goals of using an album or making an album is to use up some of my scraps, or not even scraps, but just things that I have, because sometimes when you buy new stuff you forget you have things that are similar that could go with it. So that's what I'm trying to do with this album, make sure that I'm using a variety of things, and I tend to like how that turns out better anyways. So I have some cute little puffy stickers here. This is the Willow by Felicity Jane. So sad they're out of business now. I think you can buy their digital stuff and then print it yourself, but I just loved getting their stuff in the mail. It was always packaged so cute as well. And then I mentioned in my haul video that I had picked up some stuff from Jim Holtz, and this is some stuff that I already had. So this one is I feel like it's almost Valentine's Day themed. Again, I hope I'm in frame. My camera's kind of tilted today, so hopefully it's not too bad. I might actually fix it just a little bit. Okay, hopefully that's good. And yeah, that looks pretty good. So this is kind of Valentine's Day-esque, but again, a lot of vintage ephemera. You can see there's some tickets and stuff in there. And I think when combined with my other one, it will turn out perfect. I have this fun little vintage stamp set. I think I got this from Louise recently, or I don't know. I know that somebody sent it to me. But yeah, it's super cute. So I feel like if I wanted to do some stamping and get creative with paper making and all of that, I could use that. Doilies always go with vintage collection, so I have this pack. I usually get them in the bakery section of stores like Michael's and Hobby Lobby. Picked up some of those. Well, I have a lot of packs. There's something that I always buy. These were from my little drawer that I have that's vintage stuff. So I pulled these out, and I believe that I got these from Joann. So there are just some different size little vintage cards here. I also have some frames, and the frames already are stitched, which is kind of nice. I like that they left some of the stitching on there because I really like that look. And then these look like maybe some 3x4 size cards. It might be just a little bit bigger than 3 inches on the width there. But yeah, these are super cute. Look, this one says Paris. Oh my gosh, it's going to be so perfect. And then these ones are almost like little bookmark sizes. So I thought that these would be fun to use either as paper backgrounds, or I can use them to make embellishments for my album. I got some paper clips, so I'm going to use those to make little, I'll probably tie some ribbon to them and use them to make some embellishments, which if we have time today, I can do on camera. I have this as well. This is, let me pull these out. So these were sent to me by Louise. She recently made me a junk journal. I was going to use the junk journal that she made me as my base for my France album. I had mentioned that in a previous video. If you've seen that, you might be wondering why I decided not to. But I have so many pictures. I'll show you guys the pictures in this video today. And I just don't know. I just feel like a lot of that journal would have gotten covered up, and it's so pretty. I definitely want to use it for some sort of like scrapbooking and documentation, but maybe I want to use it more for like a traditional style junk journal, where that way I can actually use the pages to kind of add to it. Because I feel like once I put the photos in, I don't know, I just feel like it would lose some of its cute little touch. So that is why I'm not going to use it, but some of the stuff would go really great with that too. And then there's just a few more of these like little glossy style cards and tickets in there that I thought go well with this. And I think I might end up putting all of my vintage ephemera into one big box by the end of this, because I have so much. I have this as well, so some more. And as you can see, most of this stuff is Jim Holtz. I actually used this for a Halloween album not too long ago, because some of the stuff in here was like kind of spooky and creepy. I don't love that these ones are glossy. I feel like since the inserts are already like have that kind of glossy vibe, it doesn't tend to look very good whenever I use glossy stuff. I prefer more like the paper looking things, but it's fine. I'm sure that we can manage. There's more. This is the one that I bought. Okay, this is actually, did I buy two of the same packs? That honestly would not surprise me. Yes, I think I did, but it's fine because I promise you all of this stuff will get used at some point or another. And plus, honestly, whenever I pick this one up, or where was it? This one doesn't have that much stuff left in it. I think I added a lot of this to my Valentine's Day collection too, since there's so many pinks and flowers. And then this was a recent purchase as well from Paper Studio. And again, just really cute, fun little vintage style pieces of die cuts. A lot of these ones have quotes and words on them, and some of them even have a little bit of French writing, which I thought would be really fun. So those will get added. And then for papers, sorry, I realize I'm kind of just like sliding everything into the corner. I don't know how much of the camera that's taking up. I did kind of flip through these on my haul video, but if you didn't see that, I'll do that again now. So what is the best way to do that? Maybe this way. So a lot of these are double-sided. I'm not the biggest fan of some of the darker ones, but I do love the ones with color. Like this green one I feel like would be really pretty. I have a lot of greenery in my pictures. And yeah, so I really love, you know, the vintage writing, the script, the font style, and things like that. Like these two are cute. And then of course, like the little paisley and laurels. I feel like that is very French to me. And I also have some stickers. These are pretty big stickers, so realistically, I think I would probably only really be able to use these on a 6x8 layout. But I do have them. I can always cut the stems off if I wanted to. This is mainly like if I feel like I need more florals, like if these ones start to get kind of lacking, or if it's the same pattern, that I can mix it up with those. This was sent to me by a pen pal a while ago. I found this in my drawer of stickers, so sorry that I don't know who sent this to me. Probably Louise. We have very similar style when it comes to vintage stuff, so I like that these ones have the white edges around them, so I feel like it could be good to break it up. And it says that it's paper decorations and stickers, so I think it maybe is a combination of both, but either way, I feel like there's some good stuff in here that I can use. That one looks like it might be vellum, so that's kind of cool. I also have some little embellishments, so some paper folds. I love to use these on layouts and projects. And then I have some larger paper folds that are like vintage music paper. I pulled these out because I thought that these might go good with some of the styles and designs that I'm going to be using for this album. So I'm gonna set these, again, I'm gonna have like a little box that I put together to keep all of this in. And for paper, because a lot of those papers that I just showed you are kind of darker, I do have some alternative paper if I need it. Again, I really don't think that I will. Since it's a 6x8 album, I really don't need much, but I have some paper pads here. This one it's called Vintage Treasures. This is actually from Walmart. I got this a long time ago, so I don't know if they still sell it. The paper is pretty thin as far as quality goes, but I liked it that it was kind of matching. Like this wine one would be really fun for our wine tasting day that we did. I feel like that would be really cool. So yeah, obviously if you can't tell, this album is not going to be super colorful, but I'm hoping to still have little pops of color where I can. And honestly, I love brown. You guys, if you've been on my channel for a while now, or you follow my Instagram, like I love like the muted colors. That's why fall is always my favorite time to craft, because I feel like I can get out all of those like kind of more brown style papers. Let me go this way. And actually use them because most of my pictures are going to match. This one is this was an old Tuesday Morning paper pad called Scripts and Music Notes, but it's by DCWV, which I think that was an AC Moore brand. But you can see there's some cool vellum specialty papers in here, some little cut aparts, which would be good for the 3x4 spaces. Lots of scripty stuff with some French words in there. And yeah, all of this is very vintage. I feel like very muted as far as colors go. This is probably one of the most colorful ones in here, but still there's a little pop of color every once in a while. So hoping to get some pinks in there. I also have some, these are from Hobby Lobby. What are these called? Phrase stickers. So I haven't used these ones in a while because again, they are very vintage, so they don't match everything, but I love these to add to like the bottom of a page or an embellishment, especially on 3x4 cards. If you don't really have a lot of space to decorate, you can usually just pop a couple of these on there and it will fit pretty well. And a lot of these are pretty versatile phrases, except for like the ones with names, but I mean, that doesn't really matter. Like obviously I know that Maggie Sue is not in the picture, Theodore, right? So some of these are specific, but most of them are pretty general. You could find a use for them. And I do have some trims and ribbon. So I have some lace that I'm going to use. I'm going to try to use pink as like my little pop of color throughout the album. Probably pink, yellow, and like these kind of navy or blues, because I feel like they'll kind of go well with everything. And then I also have more of a vintage style of lace and trim. I know that some people wouldn't really typically use these together, so I wouldn't use them in the same spread. I would use them in different spreads to kind of add some pizzazz. But yeah, I feel like this one's gonna go more with my color scheme, but this could be fun for like embellishments or little things like pieces that hang out. I also have this kind of chiffon style of ribbon. So this is going to be perfect for using with embellishments and things like that, and just kind of adding in those little tassels and little things that like for tags or pull out pages. I feel like this will be good for that. And then I will show you guys some stuff that I'm hoping to document. So I have our tickets. I don't think this has any sort of special information. Yeah, it doesn't have anything other than our names on it, but obviously you wouldn't be able to use this because it's old. So I do have our tickets from the trip, and then I have some little bits here and there. Like I know I have saved some receipts. I don't know if I want to use those yet. It'll kind of just be, we'll see as we go. I have a lot of pictures, so my fear is that this is going to get bulky pretty quickly. So I did try to not print too much, but I do have more that I could print potentially if I need to. So this is going to be a 6x8 spread. This is Mont Saint Michel. And this was so beautiful to go to. This is an abbey that was built on the top of this little island, and around 4 to 5 p.m. in Mont Saint Michel, high tide comes around, so you actually can't access the village during certain parts of the day. So we actually stayed here for one night so that we could get the full experience of what it's like after all of the crowds leave. Most people stay in a nearby village and then just drive out as a day trip, but we wanted to stay there. What's kind of interesting about this is that it is a historical landmark, so none of the buildings, I should say, they can be altered, but only by certain guidelines and to a certain extent. So it was kind of interesting walking around the area because there's so much history there, and we learned so much from the little museums, the Abbey tour. And then there was also a medieval knight that lived there, so we went to his house when he was alive, where he lived, and that was kind of cool to explore as well. So I'm sure that I'll be talking to you guys more about what these pictures are in the actual episodes. I don't want this video to be forever and just me being like talking about different places, but I'll just show you the pictures that I have, and then hopefully it will also inspire you to kind of hang out with us and stay along. I did not mean to print that as a 4x6. Obviously that's not going to fit in the album. This was, I hate the way I look in that picture, but it was on the way home. My sister picked us up from the airport, and I gave her her little bunny that I got on the trip. And then the rest of these are going to be my 3x4s, so I'll have to cut them, which I'll probably do in today's episode with just some fun little music playing behind in the background. So lots of pictures of us, and then I also tried to include pictures of some of the places that we went to. I'm imagining there's going to be a lot of journaling in this album, And I know probably many people would do like a full 12 by 12 album, especially like for me, this was a dream trip, but I prefer storing 6 by 8 albums compared to 12 by 12s. They just get so bulky. And I feel like I can fit, honestly, the same amount of pictures in a 6 by 8 that I can in a 12 by 12. The pictures are just smaller. But if I need to see the picture bigger, I can always pull it up on the computer, on my phone, on my iPad, and be able to zoom in and stuff. So this is really more for like the purpose of journaling these experiences and writing about what it was. So those are all of my pictures, mostly 3x4s right now, but like I said, I do have more pictures that I can print. I want to get a couple of, I think I said that this was a 6x8. This is a 5x7 photo that I'll use for a 6x8 spread. But I do want to get some more big photos for my 6x8 albums, although sometimes I'll do like 2 3x4s and then have a 6x8 spread. So we will see. I didn't do a very good job of taking pictures. Like, they definitely turned out good, but I don't have very many landscape photos, which I need to be better about doing whenever I do document things, because what ends up happening is that most of my pictures in the album are the 3x4 pages, and I don't have very many to fill in the 6x4, but I'll figure it out. You can always just, you know, have a cute paper in a 6x4 slot and then put a 3x4 photo. So that, of course, is an option as well. So I'm actually going to put these back in here for safekeeping. Let me take out my 3x4 and we'll go ahead and cut those on camera to make sure that they fit. And then I'm going to plan to make a couple of little paper clips that I can add into my album. So these are my 3x4. And this might trigger some people, but I'm actually going to use scissors to cut these. I make them with the border so that it's pretty easy to cut. And sometimes when I use my paper cutter, it will scratch some of the color off of the picture, which I definitely don't want to happen. I would hate to have to reprint anything. I mean, it wouldn't be the biggest deal, but if I can prevent it, then I would like to. And then also sometimes whenever I am filling in these 3x4 pictures into my album, I have to trim them down a little bit more. So sometimes it just makes more sense to do it with scissors, which we will do now. So these pictures here that I'm cutting are from when we were in downtown Paris. It was so beautiful. We went on the day of summer solstice. So just making sure I'm in frame here. We went on the day of summer solstice and they do the Festival de la Musique. And so basically it's the one day a year where there is no fee to busk, which is just playing your music on the side of the street. They usually have to pay a fee to do that because they can gain tips and money. But on the Festival de la Musique, they do not have to. So it was really so beautiful, and that's going to be one of the most vivid memories I have. I just know it because you could hear music coming from every corner of Paris. Like literally you would walk like 10 feet and it would be reggae music. Like it was so diverse in the type of music that they had as well. It would be reggae music. It would be gospel. I heard gospel. They had a huge mariachi band in one of the areas playing like covers of popular songs, and it was just incredible. It was so cool. We actually got to go to the city hall and we were able to listen to opera singers, and I wish I could tell you their names. Obviously we don't speak French. We tried to learn enough to get us through the trip, which I'll say I feel like we knew more than most tourists did, and we actually got around pretty good. The hardest part was like once we got there, like getting used to everything, but then once we kind of got a sense of how they do things there, then it made it pretty easy. We were able to communicate, but I did not pick up their names because they speak so fast and it's really hard to like translate it in my brain. It's a lot easier to speak it to read it and write it for me than it is to speak it and to listen. I feel like listening comes last for me. You can see as I'm cutting these photos, I'm putting them in slots, by the way, these are not where they'll stay. These are just where they're like safe and protected, and I can make sure that they are cut to the right size. So yeah, that was probably my favorite part of the trip. It's weird because when people ask me, it depends on like when they ask me, because at first I said that going to Mont Saint Michel was one of my favorite parts because it was just such a historic place. But now, sometimes when people ask me, it's the Festival of Music. It honestly changes. There were so many good parts. We were so fortunate to have been able to go. And it's something that was like a huge dream of ours. So we met in 2016, and I had always felt called to visit Paris. Some of my biggest heroes are like Maya Angelou, James Weldon Johnson, Martin Luther King. And I remember like reading their stories in school. I read a lot of their autobiographies and biographies. And they just always talked about Paris, like in France. And it was such like a cultural thing for me, like to want to go, like to be where they were. And like a lot of them, like James Weldon Johnson, he taught himself how to speak French there because he stayed in Paris. He was a musician as well. As some of you guys probably know, he was also a very big like piano player and like ragtime music style. And he had a private boss for a while who would fly him out to different areas just to like so that James Weldon Johnson could play music for him, which I thought was really cool. So I had always felt called to go to Paris, is what I'm trying to get at here, from like the literature that I would read, the stories I would hear, the people that I would speak to. I just felt like I really needed to go there in my heart. And when I met Jacob, I told him about this, and he was like, "That's just a coincidence that you feel like you need to go there." And it was like so weird. I feel like every time I read a book, even if it's completely random, like they're in Paris. And I know that's like weird to say because it's like, well, yeah, it's a popular place. But I don't know. I just felt like called there for some reason. And for a while, we thought that maybe it would be like long-term, like goal in the future would be to live there. I think that we've changed our minds a little bit as we've grown, because you just get used to things and you know, get comfortable. And I love our life here. Obviously Florida, there's a lot of like laws and things that I don't necessarily agree with happening in the government right now, which I try not to get very political on my channel, obviously, but yeah, so I don't agree with everything going on there, but like overall, we love our little town that we live in, and it's not too far from our parents, which my parents have like some health struggles and things that I feel like I should be around for, so I never want to be too far away. And obviously France would be crazy, but then there's also that little voice in the back of my mind that's like, you'll never be able to do this again, like you need to do it. Because I'm 25 right now, and I feel like this is when I have the opportunity to do a lot of those things. But yeah, it was basically what I'm trying to say. It was really awesome to be able to go there and actually do that, live that dream and have it come true, like right in front of our faces. All the things that like I had read about and dreamed about were like happening. Like it's still hard to believe for me that we went and did this. And there were so many moments that we just like stood there in complete awe, like so surreal. Like we were crying at one point. We were having dinner outside on like a little outdoor patio. I think I have a picture from that. I think actually this dessert was from that place, and we just both started crying and tearing up. And you know, it could have been the wine. It could have definitely been the wine. Fair point, right? But like I think that we're just so proud of being able to do this for ourselves and achieve this sort of thing, because we both also come from like low income families. He has 7 siblings, and obviously that's like hard to provide for that many people. And then I just have, you know, I come from a different sort of background, but I was also pretty much grew up in poverty. And like thinking back to that, my like inner child and stuff when we were here, like I never ever would have thought when I was like 12, 13 that I would go to France, that we would be able to plan this trip, save money, fly like 12 hours or 8 hours and actually make this dream come true. So it was just, that's kind of why we were so emotional on this trip, but like emotional in a good way, for sure. And I'm sure that some people may be watching this who travel all the time are like, this is such a normal thing. But like for some people, it is not a very normal thing, and it is a very big opportunity. It is like dreams are happening, you know, and that's how it definitely was for me and my husband. And we have some trips planned after. Everyone keeps asking us like, well, where are you going now? Mostly our family and things, because we do love to travel. I don't know when our next big trip like this is, because obviously that takes some time to save up and plan. It took us about 3 years to save up and plan everything that we wanted to do. But of course we were very meticulous about everything, so you could do it sooner if you really wanted to. So I don't know when our next big trip like that is planned. There are some places, of course, that we want to go, but I think that honestly there's a lot of places that we want to visit in the States next, before we go abroad again. So like, we are not very well traveled people. Like, we love to travel, but most of the places that we go to are like near us. So we're in Florida, so we've been to like Georgia, Jake's been to Alabama, we've been to New York, North Carolina, like those sort of places, but I feel like we've never really had to travel far distances. We've been to Tennessee, like mostly things on the East Coast too. So we definitely want to travel more to like the West Coast side of things. Washington is a big bucket list. Washington State is a big bucket list place for us. Me mainly, but Jake definitely wants to go too. Washington for sure, for like all of those beautiful hiking trails, waterfalls. It's just so, when I see pictures of Washington, I'm like, this is from a book, right? Like, this is like a painting. Like, this isn't a real place. And it always is Washington. So I definitely want to go check it out and see. We loved Canada. When we went, we had a layover in Canada. So where are my pictures from Canada? I guess I can show you a couple of things. This was in Canada. This was a cathedral that they have there. It was very, very beautiful. So we liked Canada. I would love to see more of like the countryside of Canada, because we went to Montreal, which I feel like was pretty busy. It was a very diverse population, which I definitely enjoyed. It was very cool. There's so many different types of people there. But yeah, we want to go to like more countryside. Like, we love to hike and just travel around and like kayak, swim, do those like nature-esque type of adventures. So Canada, Washington, where else? I want to go somewhere that is like more fall, I think, and check that out as well. So like Vermont, Maine, Delaware, even those places that I guess they're still on the East Coast, but like they definitely have more color than Florida does. Florida doesn't really have that many seasons, mainly just summer. So yeah, I am going to pause here and eat dinner. And on my next episode, we will finish cutting these pictures, or the next time that you guys see me, I'll probably have already finished cutting these pictures, but we will work on maybe making some embellishments and actually like planning papers. And of course, like I said, these are going to be moved around a lot in the actual spreads as well. So I will see you guys next time. Bye.